Bujuendu makinaduk, J indigenous sakanashimoen, Gwingwans indigenous uchiboimoen, anangi nindago, Odawazaka ekening winchbayan, Maniduzaka ekening, Nimdabi agegas, Ojibwe gaye Buan Anishinaabe endao, Kakapikang indaya, Helmet the kepi, J emakiapi, Bede ota ed mantumpitaka ed elsio ed ichach mayapi. Bede wakatwank wach pekute ed hemataya. Damakotak mahahatwan. Bedokite hemachato. Hamitekepi. My name is Jay. I'm from LCO, but I'm enrolled at Spirit Lake Dakota Nation. I'm Ojibwe and Dakota, and I live in Minneapolis. Bedote Learning Center in the Nookie. I also work at Bedote Learning Center. So we're gonna do a story time thing today. This is my first scheduled story time, so let me know how it works. I am recording this beforehand and sending it for broadcast. If this works, let me know. The Legend of the Blue Bonnet. An old tale of Texas, retold and illustrated by Tomito Paula. As I said, this isn't a native author, but I liked it as a kid. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang. Tell us what we have done to anger you. End this drought. Save your people. Tell us what we must do, so you will send rain back that will bring life. For 3 days the dancers danced to the sound of the drums, and for 3 days the people called Comanche watched and waited. Even though the hard winter was over, no healing rains came. Drought and famine are the hardest on the very young and very old. Among the few children left was a small girl named She Who Is Alone. She sat by herself, watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made of buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes and nose were painted and mouth were painted on with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt of polished bone. On its head were beautiful blue feathers from the bird that cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. She loved her doll very much. Soon, She Who Is Alone said to her doll, the shaman will go off alone on top of the hill and listen for the words of the Great Spirit. Then we will know what to do so that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive. The buffalo will be plentiful and the people will be rich again. As soon as she talked, she thought of the mother who made the doll, and the father who brought the blue feathers. She thought of the grandfather and the grandmother who she had never known. They were all like shadows. It seemed long, long ago when they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her. The warrior doll was the only thing she had left from those distant days. The sun is setting, the runner said, as he ran to the camp. The shaman is returning. The people gathered in a circle as the shaman spoke. I have heard the words of the Great Spirit, he said, for the people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth without giving anything back. The great spirits say the people must sacrifice. We must make a burnt offering of the most valued possession among us. The ashes of the offering shall then be scattered to the 4 points of earth, the home of the winds. When this sacrifice is made, the drought and famine will cease. Life will be restored to the earth and to the people. The people sang a song of thanks to the great spirits for telling them what they must do. I'm sure that it is not my new bow the great spirits want, a warrior says. Or my special blanket, a woman added, as everyone went to their teepees to talk and think over what the Great Spirit had asked. Everyone, that is, except she who is alone, held her doll. That is, except she who is alone. She held her doll tightly to her chest. You, she said, looking at the doll, you are my most valued possession. It is you the Great Spirits want. And she knew what she must do. As the council fires died out and the teepee flaps began to close, the small girl returned to the teepee, where she slept, to wait. The night outside was still except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. Soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except she who was alone. Under the ashes of the teepee, one fire stick glowed. She took it and crept quietly out into the night. She ran to the place on the hill where the Great Spirits had spoken to the shaman. Stars filled the sky, but there was no moon. "Oh, Great Spirits," said she who was alone. "Here's my warrior doll. It is the only thing I have from my family who died in this famine. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it." Then, gathering twigs, she started a fire with the glowing fire stick. The small girl watched as the twigs began to catch and burn. She thought of her grandmother and her grandfather, and her mother and her father and all the people, their suffering and their hunger. Before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into the fire. She watched until the flames died down and the ashes had grown cold. Then, scooping up a handful, she who was alone scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, to the north, to the east, to the south, to the west. And there she fell asleep, until the first light of morning sun woke her. She looked out over the hill, and stretching from all sides where the ashes had fallen, the ground was covered in beautiful flowers, as blue as the feathers on the hair of her doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cried, "Jay, Jay, Jay." When the people came out of their teepees, they could scarcely believe her eyes. They gathered on the hill with she who was alone to look at the miraculous sight. There was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness from the Great Spirit. And as the people sang, they danced their thanks to the Great Spirit. A warm rain began to fall, and the land began to live again. From that day on, the little girl was known by another name, one who dearly loved her people. And every spring, the Great Spirit remembers the sacrifice of the little girl and fill the hills and valleys of the land, now called Texas, with the beautiful blue flowers, even to this day.